What's up, everybody? Time for another game theory video. Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you can. I appreciate it. Thanks. Super like, super chat, PayPal, Patreon, whatever. If you want, it helps. Today, I want to talk about why this is ruining your brain. Yes, boobies, that can ruin your brain, can make us do strange things. But no, this calculator. So I want to dub this video the calculator theory, and how players are seemingly for quite a while now getting stupider, right? And I think it's because of not just the boobies, but the calculator. The fact that we have things like this in training mode nowadays, this thing that holds our hands, right? That we don't have to do the work anymore, right? Like, let's think about a calculator for a second, right? I don't know what it exactly is like in school nowadays, but I think when I was going to school, I think it was something like middle school. It was around maybe, let's say, 7th or 8th grade, right? I don't remember. I dropped out of school right when high school started, but something around 7th or 8th grade, I think. You could not use a calculator until then. You had to prove that you knew what you were doing before you could use the tool, right? You know what you're doing, and now the tool is just there to help you, right? But just like with this calculator, if we use the calculator too much and we don't actually work our brain, we forget how shit works, right? So for an example, it could be like, after I dropped out of school, I didn't do anything for like a year, and then I had to do my GED. And let me tell you, I had to practice math a little bit because I didn't remember shit, right? I didn't remember how to do anything. My brain capacity was null, zero, void, right? And even now, I can tell you, I don't know the last time I've done math. I'm sure I would have, it would probably, I'd have to like think for like a few minutes about how to like divide and everything like that again. And God forbid someone asked me how to like multiply or divide fractions. I would have to study. I would be like, I don't know how. I would have to go back and study, right? But why I bring this up, and I want you to look at this, right? Let me get to this thing, right? Remember, I'm doing all this Hayato stuff. How often have I showed this Hayato stuff now? How old is this? And guess what? People are still asking, how do you do it? How do you do it? The Waffles guy, he's supposed to be a tech dude. I don't know how he does it. What? I've only made how many videos on how to do it? You can't watch the video? I think it might be this, but I can't tell. What? Like, don't even make me look at the show with the Marvel 3 Discord. The Marvel 3 Discord still thinks everything I've done is fake. Oh my God. Insane. And I think it's really one of the problems is we have so many crutches now that players have never actually had to use their brain. Players nowadays have never had to use their brain to do anything. And they are so fucking stupid because of it. Now, that's not to say that these tools aren't useful. Like, just like boobies, they're pretty useful. I'm not against boobies. I also like small boobies. You don't need that big boobies. Any kind. I'm a booby connoisseur. Any boobies can be good. Maybe. Don't hold me to that. There might be some boobies that are bad. But, the calculator is a useful tool. These tools right here, like in Dragon Ball Fighter Z and, Street Fighter 6, these are potentially useful tools. But you're giving players these tools that have never had to use their brain in the first place. So, of course, they're going to be stupid. It's no wonder that, look at this Hayato stuff, how often I've done it. Like, dude, can you imagine me making this many videos, telling people how to do it, and it's like blowing their brain. No one has ever thought of anything like this in their entire life. You have people that make task videos for stuff like Marvel, super crazy tag team combo videos, all this kind of stuff, and this blows their brain. Like, I can't believe it. I don't understand it. He's made so many. It's that game breaking. Now, on one hand, you could say, and I think it's proof, what I've said before, no one will ever do what I've done in fighting games. No one has ever changed the perspective on fighting games like I have. From simple combos to foundational knowledge to combo video combos. No one will ever do what I've done in fighting games again. The community, these tech lords, it's comical how bad people are. Like, do you remember I made that video about Street Fighter 6? Someone was like, I can't believe if you hit a fireball and it doesn't hit you at point blank range, you're at a bigger advantage. It's like, holy shit, dude, no shit. Do you understand how video games work? Do you understand, like, what is going on? And, you know, speaking of Marvel, and Marvel is an interesting game because if you think about well, of course, I'm a Street Fighter player, but you know, if I think about the community, and I've said this before, when we think about all these crutches that players use, like macros and button binding and everything like that, and games around the time of a game like Marvel's Capcom 2 is when a lot of this stuff started becoming more commonplace, right? I talk about how button binding and macro went from a courtesy to the pad player, right? Although obviously it's abusable for certain characters, like say a Balrog or something like that, where it's actually part of the dexterity of being able to hold buttons. You know, that's an actual skill, right? But it went from a courtesy to a pad player to actually being abusable. And that was when button binding and macros first started getting like talk about in the community that like, hey, Marvel 2, we got to start talking about all this button binder and macro because wave dashing is actually a skill of the game. You shouldn't be able to button bind this and macro this. And also around the time of Marvel's Capcom 2 is when you started seeing people, I think at first they didn't call it like tool assisted. They called it like programmable pad and stuff like that. I don't know if people still use programmable pads. I don't know exactly, but people started actually being like, oh, hey, this is a programmable pad video. And you started seeing these Marvel videos of people doing combos that were actually, they were not manually doing. And even during CVS2, from what I understand, and of course, if you can watch my videos about my history in fighting games, how I got into combo videos, you know, I wasn't the person that came up with the Kim Infinite, but I was the person that kind of like made it work, so to speak. And then I showed me doing it manually. And my combo video was doing a lot of stuff that, you know, people were like, whoa, what is this? This is like right below the Japanese, right? Like no one had done that, right? And come to find out, from what I understand, a lot of those Japanese videos, you know, they play on speed 1, you know, and they were, you know, task guys, from what I understand, right? So they weren't even doing it. So, you know, it's really a lost art, you know, being able to come up with stuff yourself. You know, I've used that phrase before of, you know, talent hits the target that no one else can hit, right? But true genius hits the target that no one else can see, right? And you're like, Clayton, are you saying you're a genius? Well, apparently compared to other people, I am, right? You know, I don't need to use programmable pads and macros and all this kind of stuff to do all my videos, right? You know, and that's not me saying, you know, I would win every tournament or something. Obviously, I did well for myself when I did enter tournaments, right? But I feel lucky to do what I've done in video games. And, you know, that's not me saying that I'm better than anybody in terms of that, but certainly in terms of tech and everything, you know, no one's ever going to do what I've done. It's comical when I look at what the tech community does in video games nowadays, especially when they are given the calculator right at the beginning. And, you know, it's, of course, again, it's an amazing tool to be able to use. But if you don't actually have the foundational knowledge to know why this works, it's no wonder that no one actually comes up with anything new like me, right? It's no wonder that no one has ever changed the perspective on fighting games like I have for fighting games, because newer players especially, you're just giving these tools right outside of the box, right? Or right inside the box, where do you fucking want to say it? Right from the get-go. You know, an example I've used before of how having to actually use your brain to do stuff. I've used an example for how was I able to find so much stuff in Guilty Gear, you know. And then of course one of the ways that you can, you know, get good at predicting games is have a wide variety of knowledge of different video games. But one of the things I did in Guilty Gear, when there wasn't stuff like all these crutches like calculators. So if you think about a game like Guilty Gear, how could we actually use training mode as a crutch to find something, right? To find crazy combos. So if you think about Guilty Gear, one of the quirks of Guilty Gear is the more you hit the guy, the more pushback you get, right? And when you're in the corner, there's more pushback and the guy gets heavier and they start to tech faster. So something I used to do is I would set the meter to infinite, and then I would be like, what is this combo I'm going to go for? This combo might be 10 hits or it might be 15 hits or something like that. So I would have the meter at infinite or something like that. And so then I would run at the guy. I'd be like, boom, 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 RC. Run at the guy, boom, 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 RC. Run at the guy, boom, 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 RC. Run at the guy, boom, 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 RC. And I would get to say 10 hits. And I would be like, okay, I have sort of manipulated the game system into automatically now being at 10 hits, so I can kind of see about what kind of weight the guy is going to be at, what kind of pushback I'm going to have for at this certain spot in the combo. And then I would practice the end of the combo while giving myself an easier starter. And I would be like, okay, I've manipulated the game system in that way. So now I'm at 10 hits or 15 hits or whatever. Now I know how much pushback and how much weight the character is going to have. Now let me do the combo from scratch. Right? That would be a way of actually using your brain when there was no calculator, right? There's still tools in the training mode, right? That I didn't have to do the combo all the way from the beginning at first, right? I could sort of apply that knowledge in some of the tools and be like, okay, this is where I'm going to be at the combo. Let me practice the end because the end might be the hardest part. Now let me start over. Let me do the combo, right? Does that make sense? So I've talked about before, that would be a weird idea. Or say a character like Kai, he has a super fireball, so you could throw super fireball, super fireball, super fireball, super fireball. Oh, now I'm at 20 hits. Now let me practice the combo because this is how many hits the combo is going to start at, right? You know, do you get what I'm getting at? So there were weird things you could do like that, but you know, it's just crazy, you know, the community and excuse me, I say how many, you know, you have so many crutches and so many tools available, but people have never actually had to learn anything themselves. And God, you know, I go back to the doctor today. You know, I said, I've done this stuff with fucked up hands. I've had surgery on my hands, right? I've turned down surgery on I got the ulnar nerve stuff, and I got this fucking pinched nerve down my neck, down to my arms. So I don't want to do more surgery. So I'm going back in today to get some more shots, right? So we'll see how that goes because I'm in pain, and it's like I said, people, you know, sometimes talk about the workout videos. How have you worked out? Well, I do a lot of body weight stuff because I can't physically lift heavy, right? And you know, it's getting very hard to even do like a chin up at this point again. So I'm going to go in for some more shots. And, you know, the point is, you know, I'm still doing this stuff by hand. Who knows how much longer I'm going to do this by hands without macroing and button binding and everything like that. But, you know, you guys got to like, what is the community doing, dude? When I look at this stuff and I look at that Hayato stuff and I'm like, how many videos have I made how to do it? And you guys are still, it's like a magical fucking combo. And on some level, it's like, it's just proof that I'm the best tech dude there will ever be. You know what I mean? No one's ever going to do what I've done in these games. And I've done like every kind of fucking fighting game, right? But it's like, I've literally put it out there for you. I don't know how many more videos I can say how to do it. And people, you know, you see a task video of someone doing stuff. You do all these other crazy videos and like, oh, well, I get how it works. And then it's like, I put out something simple and people are like, years later, I don't get it. It's that amazing. And it's like, the calculator has ruined your brain. Anyway, remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.